Hi everyone, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be unboxing something I haven't done before, which is a magazine. This is a SCRYE magazine, which is a magazine all about collectible card games, CCGs, trading card games. This issue was released in April 1998 and is issue 5.1. I'm not sure about the numbering system of these issues, they're very strange. But anyway, it's got a Star Trek CCG cover with Alice Creed as the Ball Queen from First Contact. It includes a free card, which I'll show you in a second. It comes in this poly bag and it has like a supplement and stuff. So we'll open it up and we'll have a good look at what's inside. I used to buy SCRYE magazine religiously during this period because I was really into Star Trek and Star Wars CCG, along with Babylon 5 and a few other card games as well. So I was always phoning up my local card shop going, there's new SCRYE in yet? So the card we get is Cultural Connections. It's a promo card from the Babylon 5 CCG. It's not available anywhere else other than with this magazine, so it's highly collectible. I don't think this is one of the more rarer promo cards, it only goes for a few pounds I think. We get the main magazine and we get a supplement. Now the really interesting things that I like seeing in these old magazines are the adverts, especially these ones. These are the Star Wars CCG adverts, and these used to come out just before the sets came out, so sometimes the card packs had different design. This is the actual Jabba's Palace expansion pack design though. And it gave you like little hints at what you'd find in the set, which is really cool. So it gave you like, it was almost like little spoilers, but you had to, these were like quite random, as you can see. If you can see any of those, I'll do a quick close up. So there you can see there's like little phrases and things, and it just gives you a little hint at what may be inside the set. So we'll go for the supplement first. It's all about the First Contact set. Now First Contact, the movie, came out in around the end of 1996, maybe December time. And this set came a year after that. I believe it was about December time of 97. So this was a couple of months after the set came out, and this supplement covers the rules and I don't know what else. We'll have a quick look. So there's a nice advert there for the Farjo collection, which I do have in my collection. I've got a sealed copy, but I do have the loose cards as well. But this was to order it. It was very expensive because there was only 18 cards in the set, and I remember having to pay a huge chunk of customs fees on it as well when it arrived. So it says the Farjo collection was $80. Now that was $80 23 years ago. So it's quite a very expensive set, I should say. There are only 40,000 of these sets in existence. So then we get a rule supplement. Now these must be the ones that are printed in the boxes. When you bought a box of cards, you get a rule supplement in there. So I believe they're just a reprinting of those. So we get one for the Alternate Universe set. Then we get, we should have one for the Q Continuum. There we go. One for the Q Continuum set. And a card list for First Contact there as well. And then we get the First Contact rules supplement. Again, I believe these are just a reprinting of what you would get in a booster box. The First Contact set had a hell of a lot of new rules in it because of the Borg and fighting, and literally there's a whole chunk just on a new affiliation of the Borg. This is where Star Trek CCG started to get complicated and ramp up all the rules. Then we get a Farjo collection rule supplement, which is really interesting. So it just basically shows you every card in the Farjo collection and how to use it. And that's it for the supplement. Just that advert again. So yeah, that's a nice thing to have. If you don't buy boxes, I used to buy, not the earlier sets, but later sets I bought boxes. But if you didn't have the boxes, you wouldn't have the new rules, which was quite frustrating, especially, I mean, I think I used to get them off the card shop I went to. And I think the single seller I used to go to at Gloucester Docks used to sell the supplements as well. So we did get hold of them eventually, because there wasn't any internet back then. It was literally no internet. So it was hard getting hold of the new rules, which is quite frustrating for a player. But anyway, this is the main event. This is the SCRYE magazine. It covered all kinds of CCGs. I think it started out as being Magic, and then it expanded over the years. So we'll quickly go through it. I love seeing these old magazines. It just brings out so much nostalgia for me, because I was a player and a collector back then when all these sets were coming out, and this was the holy grail, getting one of these. I can't remember how often it got published. It may have been every couple of months. I don't think it was every month. I really can't remember. But I remember always phoning up the card shop asking if it had been in, or asking them to ring me when it comes in. So, quick thing about the First Contact set, you'll see here, this is the card pack. This is the first card pack that has an actual proper design on it. The old Star Trek sets were just a plain blue packet, so it was really weird and interesting seeing these new packs. I think this was the first set to only have 9 cards in the pack as well. So they really mixed it up with releasing this set. And then there's this amazing montage here as soon as you open the magazine. I did have this magazine back in the day, but you forget about it. You don't really think about things like that. Just buying the magazine off the shelf. You don't think, oh, in 20 years I might actually want to see this magazine again. I just got rid of them ages ago. So then we get a index of all what contents are. You get quite a lot of these promotional adverts as well for shops. Welcome to 1998. And all the sort of introduction, another advert. Then we get lovely adverts like this for the Babylon 5 CCG. I can't remember when that came out. It was around 97, so it might have just come out at this point, premiere. I think that came out late 97, sort of December time. Now this was my favourite bit of the magazine. This basically told you of any upcoming sets or games that were coming out, and I just loved it. This was the bit I turned to straight away to see if there was any new sets coming, because there wasn't any internet, so this was the only way you got news. So in this issue it says there's a Star Trek sealed deck coming out. I should just say the dates that they used to release in these were usually always wrong. There was always delays. But in this one we have sealed deck, so it tells you about the sealed deck that actually came out. Sometimes you'd get sets and it would be announced here, but weren't actually ever released. So it's saying it's here, this is a good example. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, to the vibrant success of First Contact, the Cyphers decided not to release the DS9 2-player set next. Now, this DS9 2-player set never came out. They just released a huge DS9 set, which is what they tell you about next, double size expansion, which came out in the summer. It did come out in the summer because I was on holiday at the time, about July time, and found it on holiday. I can't remember where I was, but it was a big shopping centre with game in it, and it had DS9 starters and boosters. That's basically that for that one. Jabba's Palace coming in April. I think it did come out about April time because I remember being at school. It features Jabba the Hutt, and there's a preview which we'll see later on in the magazine. Star Wars sealed deck. Yeah, I think that was released and everything. Star Wars update, Hoth First Anthology, Dagobah and New Hope are no longer available. They are sold out. That's interesting. And then a bit about championships. Then there's other So that was Decipher, which made Star Trek and Star Wars. Then we have others like Precedence. They did Babylon 5, saying the Shadow Wars will now be known as the Shadows. They must have released a name before this and it was wrong. Scheduled for April. Second core edition is targeted for June. Tentatively titled The Great War. That second expansion, Great War, did actually come out. Now, Overpower I don't know about. Doom Trooper, I don't know that one. Shadowrun, I've heard of these because I used to read the magazine obviously, but I was never a buyer of those. And then there was some about other games. June, Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast have decided Xena and Hercules are the next hot gaming licenses. Now they did release CCGs for those two. We've heard that the Simpsons and South Park licenses have been snapped up for CCGs. Now the Simpsons card game actually did come out eventually. Can't remember if that was Wizards of the Coast. Now when I read this South Park license, I used to be in South Park, so I was really excited to read that, but a card game never appeared, unfortunately for that. So yeah, that's that page. That was my favourite page, as I said. Then you get a Wizards of the Coast here. I wasn't really into Wizards of the Coast stuff. So here, Xena and Hercules were part of this Arc system card game. Star Trek Dice, I wasn't really into that. I was really into the cards. So yeah, that you can see here that it's Middle Earth. We get a release schedule. I think this might have been, can't remember, or just a release. Yeah, so it would detail upcoming things. Sometimes you'd see weird things in here that would never get released. So they all came out. That's that page. Then you'd always get articles on new expansions. So this is about Jabba's Palace and the Babylon 5 CCG that had just been released. So I enjoy reading about that because I'm interested in that. Initial strategies for Babylon 5. Obviously it just come out. You get a Borg Cube deck design. They'd always publish deck designs as well. So if you had the cards, you could make these decks. Fajo collection again, advert. We've already had one of those, and another How to Order. They were really desperate to sell this. It just didn't sell because of the price point, I think. Another First Contact article. More deck designs. These are from Magic this time. Another Star Wars deck there. So you see what the magazine's like. It's basically reviews and deck points. You get question and answers. So these like experts at the magazines or players, I can't remember who they are. But FAQs basically for cards. Because again, no internet. People didn't know. If there was a query about something, you wouldn't know how to use it. Again, you've got one about Babylon 5 here. That was a very new game. Obviously, people still didn't get to grips with that. So, what have we got? We've got a list of Babylon 5 promos here. That's interesting to see. One about cultural connections that you get with this magazine. More reviews, deck, World Championship lists. Another Babylon 5 thing. So it was basically loads of articles written by different people, just compiled together. Mostly about the most popular ones, but you do get the odd random ones. Then you get this section. So this is the card price guide. So basically it would list prices for all the expansions of every game that was popular at the time. So you get Magic the Gathering, and we get Star Trek CCG. This was useful for me as well because it was basically a card list. So it didn't always have all the commons and uncommons in it, but if you were desperate for a card list, this magazine basically had one in every issue, so it was brilliant. And it would give prices for like different, so upper, median, lower prices. And this was good for Star Wars because you get rare ones and rare twos, etc., and you wouldn't know which one it was, so it would always tell you in here. Let me get Babylon 5. I don't think I can't remember them having that for very long in here. So banned lists for Magic and stuff. Players guides, so they'd like print the text of all the cards, so if you didn't have a certain card you could see what it does. They've even done it for Babylon 5 here. Aliens Predator, that might have been a new one around that sort of time, so that was interesting. So it was really good to get a card list and stuff. This magazine was amazing, basically for me, as you can probably tell. I'm very enthusiastic about it. And again, just there you go, that's the magazine. There's quite a few adverts in it, so there's a survey there, and then that's the same advert on the back for Jabba's Palace. So yeah, that's the overview of SCRYE 5.1 from April 1998. Let me know down below, do you remember this magazine? And what games were you into back in the 90s? Let me know. So thanks for watching everyone. Please subscribe to my channel, see my future videos, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.